Good morning, and once again, welcome you all for the second session of day one of AICD sponsored online faculty development program on aspects and machine learning applications in smart grid. It's my immense pleasure and honor to introduce and welcome the resource person for the second session, Dr. C. Bharati Raja, sir. Dr. C. Bharati Raja received Bachelor of Engineering in Electrical Electronics Engineering from Komaraguru College of Engineering in the year 2002 and Masters in Engineering from Government College of Technology, Coimbatore in 2006. He received his PhD in the year 2015. He completed his first postdoctoral fellowship at Center for Energy and Electric Power, Faculty of Engineering and the Built Environment, Tshwane University of Technology, South Africa in 2016 with National Research Foundation funding. He was the award recipient of DST Indo-US Bhaskara Advanced Solar Energy at 2017, and through he completed his second postdoctoral fellowship at Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering, Northeastern University, USA. He is a visiting researcher at University of South Africa. He is also an award recipient of Young Scientist Fellowship, Tamil Nadu State Council for Science and Technology in the year 2018. He has completed 6 funding projects from various government and private agencies. He also signed MOU with Wall Vision BV Netherlands company to develop zigzag solar for Indian operations. Currently, he is running 2 DST funded projects as project worth of 67 lakhs. He is a senior member of IEEE, IEI, and IET. Dr. C. Bharatiraja is currently working as Associate Professor at the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Kattangulattur campus. His research interest includes power electronic converter topologies and controls for PV and electric vehicle applications, and also PWM techniques for power converters and adjustable speed drives, wireless power transfer, and smart grid. He has authored more than 80 papers which are published in reputed international journals, including various IEEE transactions. So, with these few words, now I'd like to invite Sir to deliver the lecture. Sir, please.
Yeah, can we go to the presentation?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Okay, so fine. So first of all, I would like to thank the organizer and St. Joseph Institute of Technology for given this opportunity to participate as a resource person presenter in this faculty development program. I would like to thank the HOD Electrical Engineering Department and other colleagues, faculty in the St. Joseph Institute of Technology, and the participants. Very good morning, and I wish this is a good webinar conducted regularly by St. Joseph, and this one among in their webinar series. So the webinar, basically the title is more on something like computational. So my intention today on this session is to talk about something on electrical vehicle charging, and nevertheless I will also address what are the significance and opportunities and challenges are there in the data related things on this wireless chargers, and as well, of course, electrical e-mobility aspects of IoT system and ICT systems and all. Okay, so let's start with so basically I'm going to cover these are the topics. So we will discuss on what wireless power transfer. We will also discuss on typical wireless charging, some of the solutions for the wireless charging, what are the technical measures and design structure we have to go for to design a better wireless power transfer system, and some of the case study, and of course I will leave some takeaway point. What are the research you can do in this area. So organizer, for your information, if you want to take a photo, you can take it. So I will turn off my camera so that the network bandwidth will be. Can I do that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can take a look. Participants, can you please switch on your videos so that we can take a group photo.
Because the network bandwidth is not good for the past days, so better we will be strict on only the audio. Meanwhile, whenever it is required, we can open the camera. Fine. So this is my session. The next 1.5 hours, we are going to discuss about fully on electrical vehicles. So let's start with where we are. Indian government focus on electrical vehicle. So there are sales rate, and there are some data related to electrical vehicle deployment in India. So on the whole, India thinking to develop a fully, not fully, probably the 70% of the vehicle at present what we have in this transportation portfolio to be converted to be an electrical vehicle. It might be big challenge, but the government have different policy, and they have attempted many, events such as proposing the funding for the industry, and there are a lot of startups actually, doing work on it. Ministry of Industry and Ministry of Public Enterprises and Ministry of Oil, Ministry of Transportation, Ministry of Electric, Ministry of Power. So there are a lot of ministries actually working in this area. So government has a clear vision. It is something like 2030. They wanted to be focusedly, maybe the IC engines manufacturing supposed to be stopped by the year of 2030, and during that time we are estimated 70% of vehicles supposed to be an electrical vehicle. But anyway, that point, the manufacturing the vehicle, it's okay, but now the point is how we are going to facilitate this vehicle charging will be only a problem. Why? Because charging is, if you think on in the terms of power, huge power we need. Point number one, because the oil exploration, if you take in India, we are spending lot of money. You all know about that. The petrol and diesel, revenue for the Indian government is 8% in GDP is contributing. So, that's all a big problem actually. So we have to compensate. You have to create a system such a way to provide that much amount of power, provided we need an infrastructure, and very important, consumer like us, people, we only going to buy a vehicle, right? So we have to be, we feel that this electrical vehicle is something like IC engine what we are using. That feeling has to come. If we are not met out the field, for example, we don't have a proper charging station, maybe in a semi-urban like a small town, then the small town people won't buy electrical vehicle. Even the person who are sitting in, working in Chennai, he might be regularly used to go to his native place. He also not willing to buy electric vehicle. The reason behind, because his native place, the charging stations are not there. Though it's available in Chennai, but it is not there in his native home. So how he can charge when he go his home? So he might be go for a specific point. There might be a lot of traffic over there. So he has to wait a lot of time. So dependency will be getting high when the charging stations are not, properly adapted to meet out the sales of the electrical vehicle. Another one more thing, maybe you wanted to understand this point. It's not a technologically, but technology is coming under the business, right? So business perspective, you see, electrical vehicle battery is only a challenging component. So those batteries internally, lithium is a material. Of course, we cannot negotiate that material, because lithium is a basic material what we need. So those lithiums are coming from where? Those lithiums are coming from China and Northern America, South Africa. So America, okay, they are giving support to India at present days, but we don't know what its upcoming days is going to be. But if you take China and South Africa is okay, but South Africa, all mining is holded by China. So China mining, of course, China will be holding their own. And now the relation between China and India, now you know what is the situation. So we are one in day, we are supposed to be totally rely on this battery, maybe with China. Now, you know, yesterday there is a magazine in Mint and Boomerang. They are quoted like semiconductor export is 83% is down. Export, I mean, is import. Semiconductor import in sense that silicons, PCBs, and those things. 83% is got down for the past 3 months. Why? Because China only providing those materials to India. So they are likely to stop that because they wanted to, disturb Indian business on semiconductor industry. Now, if you take electrical vehicle going to be adopted, and over the period, definitely they will do the same for the battery also. Another way, this is all about business and relation and how the materials are coming to India. It's about supply chain. So supply chain will be affected. So supply chain is affected, then definitely we cannot create a lithium and all. So we anyway have to buy. So supply chain needed that. And second thing, coming to battery, everyone looking to have a very good driving experience, which means when you charge one time, the vehicle has to drive at least 250 kilometers. Assume that I am talking about four-wheeler. Here itself, I am talking only a car segment, so it's easy to understand. So when we take this car segment alone, like as I said, 250 kilometer is a basic need to satisfy the the consumer, we and you. So it's a basic 200 kilometers is a very basic, right? Because you maybe provide 60 kilometer running, that's not good actually for the car. So how much battery you have to deploy? Probably 25 kilowatt battery you have to deploy in your vehicle. So 25 kilowatt in sense that the battery cost and battery size and those things will be eventually very high. Why? Because the battery has to charge through wire. Suppose the battery may be able to charge by using some wireless concept, or when the when the car gets charged during this drive. So what happened? You maybe give directly supply to your motor, and part of the supply can charge the battery, and then you can of course meet out your driving of this 250 kilometers. So the point is, we can reduce the size of the battery. Size means the battery what you're going to adopt into the vehicle to meet out 250 kilometers, that can be reduced. So if I'm connecting the first one, what I told as a supply chain, so we don't want to import a lot of battery, point number one. And second thing, that the battery cost will get into the vehicle, probably getting reduced. Third one is that of course we can drive our vehicle directly if you have a wireless charging, because you can charge the battery, provided that charge whatever the power is you are getting into vehicle, that can be directly given to the motor drive. So it's a very good technology for an electrical vehicle. That is why every aspects this wireless charger is it's a good technology. Probably it needs a lot of infrastructure cost, but even then the governments like China and Japan, South Korea, America, UK, they are already created a test trial road. China is actually commercializing on road in this COVID city, Pinchu. So that's what this wireless power charging will be helped. So in general, if you see any e-mobility system, e-mobility in sense that car, charger, application, graphical user interface, business logistics, everything comes under that category. So what is the effective system? The effective system means it's supposed to be a good sales and good supply. So there is a lot of bullets we can say on this umbrella, but if you very focusedly see towards the consumer perspective, the strategical location of charging network under this power sizing and the energy storage and buffer charging, so on. And second one is the communication network, user-friendly vehicle charging infrastructure. And the third one is that how your Google map is there. Likewise, you should have a scheduling algorithm, route mapping, pre-negotiation. Maybe what is mean that Maruti, for example, selling the car. So Maruti should have a policy. If anything happen in the car, they have to replace the car. Like how the mobile phone is normally nowadays in market, they're replacing for the certain problems it's happened in the mobile phone. They can replace in a stipulated time, right? So that has to be done. And pre-negotiation, we can talk a lot, but we don't want to enter into that. And finally, driving assistance, since I'm directly talking about the autonomous vehicle. So once in point of time, the autonomous vehicle going to come into the market. So the vehicles no need any driver, in sense that the vehicle has to charge themselves, and the vehicle decide that the driving according to our algorithm. Maybe it has been operated by Ola. So Ola trip based the vehicle will work, and maybe it is operating for institution or individual. So based on the demand, the vehicle will be operating. So let's talk about wireless charger. So this is basically wired charger, right? So wired charger, you need a charging point. It might be AC or DC. So battery anyway charging only DC. So in that case, if you provide AC, then you should have a lot of power electronics converter to make this AC into DC. Now coming to wireless charger. So wireless charger means there is no wire. So that is a different, it is there. Now you can see here, the wire charger, the wire is always there. So that the vehicle should be charged while it is in the stopping nature. Whereas the wireless charger, even you can charge the vehicle when you are parking, but you can charge your vehicle even the vehicle is moving on the road. So during the drive itself, you can charge your vehicle. So there is no wire between the car and as well as the charging coil, which is laid in the road. So basically, this is the structure of this wireless charger. So internally, what is there? Internally, you must be understand this one. Otherwise, you cannot, follow the upcoming slides. So basically, this is one coil. It is there on the road or parking lot. It is called as transmitter. Other coil, the other one, what I represented here in the blue color flex bar. So that is actually called receiver coil. So we have two coil. With these two coil, you have to transfer the power. The principle of electromagnetic induction. That's what this wireless charger. So transmitter coil is there in the road or parking lot, and receiver coil is attached to the car. Okay, so wireless charging, it is used nowadays in cell phone and all, but this word, it's coming like for the past maybe 5 years, maybe 5 years before you see IoT, everyone is talking. Even if you talk about 20 years before, everyone is talking about wind to solar. Likewise, technology is actually, keep on getting into researcher mind, people mind, based on the demand. So though it is a new technology looking for all this business and e-vehicle charging portfolio, but the technology is invented not newly. It has been invented is 130 years before. So Tesla is a guy who invented this one. So Tesla basically tested some amount of millivolts, and he transferred some amount of miles and as well small distance as well. So there are a lot of experiment he has conducted. Basically, he transferred the power and he set up the experiment, and through this experiment he ran through a bulb and motor. But after this Tesla's principle and invention and all, there are a lot of debates beside this, which means the Tesla coil only can supply AC and it cannot be used for the DC, because during the time DC converters are not there. Only AC can be used as AC. Suppose you want DC, from the DC generator only you have to generate DC power. So during the time there is no wind, though no solar, nothing, right? So there is no power electronics converter during the time. So the debate is that the DC load cannot be used during that time by using this Tesla principle. Another thing, Tesla just transferring the power. It's like a lightning. The receiver end device, sometime it getting more current, so it's get damaged. Say for example, Tesla is invented through the bulbs, but the point is how many times the bulb got damaged, we don't know. He's showing his research in the paper that what's a bulb, 200 watts, 200 lights, the rating of 150 and all. So, but the point is that how many bulbs, gone because of the high current, high power entering into that. That are the debate point here, which means the Tesla principle is permanently damaging the appliances where you are fitting this wireless power transfer. So these are the debates happen. But after this, Tesla is actually experimented many things. He used to give a lecture in his own institution, the University of California. Now, previously it was University of Columbia, but now previously it was Columbia College of Engineering, means college laid at New York. And then there are other atoms also, like they are used for the oscillators. Then it has been used for some springs arrangements, then drones, then satellite powering. And likewise, the principle has been tested till probably you can say the whole 19th century it has been tried. But the 20th century only, this technology has been taken by another researcher. His name is called Marin. I will show that in the next slide. So that professor, they start up a company during the time of 2000. The company name is the Verticity. Now the company name is Delphi. The same company name, now it is Delphi. You all know about TVS and Delphi, TVS Delphi, and those companies are there, right? So that company is Delphi. So then that same wireless power transfer is developed in different way, and it has been structured in proper and given to the commercial aspects, like they are given to Nissan. So Nissan Leaf is car. They have done a prototype model for charging Nissan car in the year of 2011. So he is basically the Professor Marin. He is an MIT professor. I mentioned that the company name is Verticity. So Verticity is a combination of the word wireless and plus electricity. So what the debate between, or what is the consequence between the Tesla and Professor Merlin invention is very simple. Tesla took two coil, one coil transferring the power due to the mutual inductance. That is what Tesla done. But the coefficient of coupling, what frequency you have to operate, what is the magnetic field, how do you control the current, what about the losses between this, how long distance, what is the distance you are going to place between the two coil, everything will be dealt by the professor, because he has done the research from the principle of Tesla. So basically they have done for the electronic gadget charging. So they are done for the, during the time laptop was there, no. So they have done for laptop and computer charging by using the two coil. After that, they have arrived a different type of the wireless charging also. So they are all basically the range of charging, which means the distance, how much they are transferring the power. So the one is that short range, it's basically inductive coupling. And another one is the medium range, it's a resonant inductance. The last one is a long range, it's electromagnetic wave power transfer. So all this has been tested by the same company, Verticity. But again, Verticity, the efficiency, they are initially arrived around 40%. And this Verticity, again, the coil, between the primary and secondary coil distance is very limited, and they are very focused on particular frequency. They are not operating for the different frequency. So those are the limitations actually they arrived during the time of the early stage. But at present, this Verticity has developed a lot of wireless coil. Concom is another company. So they are procure all the technology from Verticity. Whatever the IPR is done through Verticity has been procured by Concom. So now Concom only providing a wireless charging for all the automobile company and mobile manufacturing company. So now the efficiency is estimated around 95%. There are different years. You can see why I am showing this. Tesla has done this experiment in the tower of wireless charging. Everyone knows about that is during year of 19th beginning, correct. But according to me, Tesla, tested this principle because of the Faraday's principle. See, Faraday is invented electromagnetic induction actually, but what Faraday did that he used a core. I think that Faraday didn't thought about what happened while removing the core, because the intention of the Faraday is that to transfer the power in a maximum efficiency by providing a core. So Faraday is not thought about what happened in the system when there is no core. Maybe the Faraday tried in that time. I don't think that Tesla has been developed this, but Faraday might have developed during the time itself. So anyway, you look at the year 18th century beginning. It has been invented actually electromagnetic induction. Maybe the upcoming slide I am going to show you the mathematical calculations and that. You will be wonder the same equation what we had with the Faraday. We are using the same thing. Nothing we have developed newly. Maybe we have developed a systematic approach, but the principle wise we have not changed anything. So almost 200 years before technology this was. So then the different people, probably Koreans of technology, Japan, then Delphi, as I said, Roland Leaf, and now the Tesla, Volkswagen. There are different even Tata Jaguar, Tata DVR, so they are also developing this technology at present day. If you raise the question yourself, wireless power transfer has been used only for an electrical vehicle. It has been attempted for the previously for the different application. Yes, it was. So wireless power transfer has been used for past 20 years for the different applications. Likely, the small electronic gadget power supplying, biomedical instrumentation, industrial automation, drone applications and all. But now we are interested on the wireless charging on the electrical vehicle. So you can see some of the examples here. You have ear parts, ear parts are there, and pacemakers, and you can see the laptop and the headphones, hand tools, and your phones. Everything is charged wirelessly. So when you take wireless charging, we must be understand why and how do you characterize this wireless power transfer design based on what will it take this same mobile charging circuit for the electrical vehicle. So that questions and all is there. So I am going to address those things now. So if you design any wireless power transfer to the specific application, you have to be consider 3 parameters. One is that what is your coil size. So the coil I am talking about, receiver coil and transmitter coil. The second one, what is your magnetic field density, and density within that I can say my flux, my area, and of course I can relate this magnetic flux density is nothing but my power. What power I am going to transfer from one coil to another coil. So what might be my power budget it is. The third one is that what is my distance between one coil to another coil in terms of the vertical distance. Because wireless power transfer always having two dimension of distance. One is the x-axis distance, that is horizontal. Another one is the vertical. So now I am talking about here is the vertical distance. So now consider these 3 aspects, which means the coil size, power budget, and the range, which means the D value between the primary and secondary coil will be a fact for designing any wireless charging applications. So if you take an electrical, for example, how much power we need? We need a huge power, right? Because the battery has to charge 15 kilowatt minimum. That's a minimum value for the 4-wheeler segment. Then what about the power range? It has been fixed. Indian road condition, 20 centimeter. It's a clearance value. So the minimum value is 13 centimeter. So this is for car size, but XUV and e-buses and all, it is a little higher. Then the size, accordingly, you have to make it. So now I can differentiate this 3 characterizing value with these aspects, like one is near field, another one is non-near field, and the last one is ultrasonic, sound based. So near field in sense that very, very closer. So now you see many of might know about wireless charging, the cell phone charger. So what is that cell phone charger? Is it a fully distance covered one? It means the The phone charger will be far away from the transmitter. No, not at all. You will be place your phone on the top of the transmitter coil. So material, plastic, portions, what is there, insulation. Apart from that distance, there will not be any air gap. Actually, you are touching, which means a very, very near field. Non-near field in sense that, of course, non-near field is the electrical vehicle, because the electrical vehicle you don't have an option to touch, right? You have to transfer the power through the air media, because the distance what you need in the road, I said already, from the car plate and transmitter coil and receiver coil, you must be a distance of 13 centimeter to 20 centimeter. So electrical vehicle comes under the category of non-near field. And ultrasonic, it means large distance. Maybe the sound signal can be laser light emitting diode principle. So sound also can be converted as an electric supply, and light also can be converted as electric supply. So those can be used. That is also called it as wireless charger. But now electrical vehicle looking only for the non-field application. Now we will be focused on what is charging first. So if you take any electrical vehicle, the charging options in front of us, there are three. One is normal charging. How you are charging your battery in your home, similar way. So you have to charge a longer time, basically with the AC supply. So that's called it as level 1, level 2 charging. So that's called normal charging. You have to wait long time. Then the second one, the recent days, fast charging. Even mobile phone also having fast charging, right? So fast charging, probably it can charge in 30 minutes. And the last one, initially this technology is actually booming, but it is not acceptable by the consumer. It's battery swapping. Battery always charging, and whenever your battery get drained, you have to go to the charging station. You have to replace your battery, what is there with your vehicle. So that's not acceptable because of the habit of the IC engine what we are having right now. Because every time you have to go on shop and changing the battery, people are not interested. We need always person to work on it. And more importantly, we need a lot of infrastructure. And one battery, other battery, you might be change your battery from your car. So it's all will be it's not an interest one, right? So we are not going for the third one. So basically, wireless charger, it might be have two chances. Either you can go normal charging or you can go fast charging. But in general, now people are interested choosing only a fast charging, because fast charging in sense that you can charge very quickly. So now coming to the differentiation between the wired charger and wireless charger in terms of usage. So assume that we have wired charger. What are the hurdles in front of us? So wired charger in sense that there is a pole. I'm talking about DC charger only, the fast charger only. We have a pole. So you go there and charge your car. So you'll be charged through the wire. So wire having a wear and tear. It might be a raining time, maybe snow, country like Europe and other US continent and all. So those problems are there. So electrical shocking opportunities are high. Then second thing is that charging station, it probably like cables and the materials. It may be there in the road. There is a chances of the people may get damaged, do damage, or it might be sometimes stolen also. Then finally, it can be exchange, and you need a lot of space, and the choices of environmental impacts, it's high. Negative impacts are high. So now the question is, we are going for wireless charging. In that case, we are going to satisfy all these hurdles what we have in this wireless charging. Some question answer is yes, but some of them is no. For example, infrastructure, we need a minimum 50 times infrastructure cost compared to the wired charging. But apart from that, since the power is transferred to the wire, so EMI, EMC, electric shocks, everything will be arrested within the technology itself. Then it's all light in the road and some coil is there in the car. So car is fully taken care by the owner, and road can be, it's a fully considering road, so that is also okay. We can avoid the damages and other stolen kind of activities. So that's the thing. Now coming to the differentiation between the efficiency. So anyway, any system we need efficiency, right? So efficiency in sense that normally efficiency can be categorized into two ways. One is in electrical vehicle especially. One is the lifetime efficiency. Another one is the power efficiency. What is called power efficiency? I may say delivery efficiency also, which means right from the battery to the wheel, how much of power we are transferring. Say for example, 1 kilowatt as a power going into the wheel as 0.800 watts, since the 200 watts you are compromising in the different stages of power conversion. So that is the one aspect. Another aspects, your battery lifetime probably should not go down because of the technology what you are adopting. Because the battery normally it delivering the energy during the discharging, but discharging profile he has to maintain. If you are not able to maintain the discharging profile of the battery, according to the battery chemistry, the battery lifetime will go down. Cycling time of the battery will be go down. So you can see here, I have been mentioned very clearly. Here the energy sources what you have, then you have charger, and then you have a battery, then you have wheel. So which means the source is coming from some from EB electric board. Then that is go to a charger, then charger is go to battery, and the battery go to inverter, then it goes to a wheel. This is what general single line diagram for any electrical vehicle. In that, if you see the charging alone we are talking now, so the charging for plugged in, it is promised to have 90% more efficiency, but wireless charging it is only 88%. So what about that 5%? The 5% is the losses. We will discuss about those losses quickly. So that losses only we have to improve in this one. So that might be one of the problem here by comparing the wireless charging and as well as wired charging. Now you will be understand the technical, very basic technical. What is the wireless charging? What is the principle behind? So as I already mentioned, there are two coils. One is the transmitter coil that is there in the road. Another one is a receiver coil that is there in the car. So this is a transmitter coil and this is a receiver coil. So the idea to transfer the power between these two. So you provide a high frequency AC power, which means, let me take some practical values so that you can easily understand. Probably 3.4 kilowatt wireless charger. It has been designed, one of our design. So designed by us actually long back. So 3.45 kilowatt supply as a AC, we are transferring into 80 kilowatts. 80 kilohertz. So that 80 kilohertz means high frequency AC is going to transmitter to receiver. Then that is going to be converted as a DC supply and then given to DC-DC converter, and that's go and charge the battery. So this is what a generic principle behind this wireless charging. Coming to the technical inside, what's happening there actually between these two coils. So basically these two coils are placed in a distance D. So that's what this D actually. So the transmitter coil given by the supply of 80 kilohertz, 3.5 kilowatt. So some power is given here, so that the transmitter coil getting some flux. So that flux always created by some amount of current. Okay, so it has their own inductance, so that the current was there. So that current is creating induced EMF, which means flux. So that flux goes to another coil. Probably it is quite able to connect in a particular or stipulated distance. So the flux is transferred due to the mutual inductance in a particular magnetic field area. That's called B and magnetic flux density, and A is area. Then the flux is moving one coil to another coil. So automatically the second coil you are getting EMF. Okay. So basically how it's happened because of mutual inductance between these two coils. So what do you understand from here? All the flux are going into the other coil. That's very important, which means the flux is going transmitter coil to receiver coil. Basically that is a positive flux. Suppose there is a chance the receiver coil also sometime maybe give back the flux to the transmitter coil, because the mutual inductance is on both the sides. So if it's that flux goes, that is a negative flux. Maybe the positive flux or the flux what's there with the transmitter coil to receiver coil, power transfer. So some of the flux going away to this coil also sometimes happen. That is a leakage flux. So whatever the flux is going directly to transmitter to receiver, that is usual flux. Whatever the flux is going away, that is call it as leakage flux. So what we need to do the system in this, we have to provide always positive flux, which means the flux has to travel from transfer to receiver coil, and we need to avoid the leakage flux and make use of the flux as much as usual flux. So these two you have to do first to reduce your or to design your WPT system, wireless power transfer system. Okay, right. Now, how do you do that? Basically, what Faraday did, Faraday assumed that the flux can be go out, so there should be a core around these coils. So our core, on the core, the coil has been wounded, or the core around the coil. So the flux produced by the coil will be passed through only through the core, because you are providing a media to pass the flux. So in transformer, what happens, the leakage flux, it will be very, very, very less. That is the reason all transformer are giving 95% efficiency and are high. Whereas in wireless power transfer, is it possible? No, it's not possible. You look at that, there will be a choice of leakage flux. So those flux call it as leakage flux. Whatever the actual flux you are getting inside the coil dimension, that is actually called linkage flux or usual flux. Then coming to this flux relation is nothing but current also. So it's circuit impedance. Indirectly, I can say that's the resistance value and inductance value of the circuit and the mutual inductance between the circuit. So all are very important. So that's all comes from the Maxwell principle. So the Maxwell principle is also involving with the Faraday's principle. Now you take in this circuit, it's just like an equivalent circuit. Just comparing with this conventional transformer and wireless power transfer. So conventional transformer, as I mentioned already, the leakage current is very, very less. So in literature, normally they say in a distribution transformer, 2% is lesser. That should be your leakage flux. Normally it is operating by 50 Hz, and your the core should be designed that manner. Whereas wireless charging, it is leakage flux is higher. There is a high chance actually. So anyway, here I mentioned in that way, but we can reduce it. But literally, if you take the conventional system, the leakage flux will be more than 80%. And as I mentioned already, kilohertz, what is our system in that way? Any system, if you are designing, you are operating at the kilohertz level to megahertz level. So basically, to compare this transformer and as well as wireless power coils, so wireless coil is basically coupling in a loosey manner, which means transformer is tightly coupled, wireless is loosely coupled. So the mutual coefficient between this transformer probably close to 1, but in wireless power transfer coefficient of coupling is only 10 to 20%. So that's all the important aspects we have to see in technical. Now we will see how the system and what are the components you need to build these wireless concepts in the electrical vehicle. So now the slide shows a coil and an electrical vehicle. So this car is parked in a certain place, and you can see here the grid supply is given to the WPT charging pad. That charging pad given the supply what is coming, that given to the roadside coil. The roadside coil is lying on the road. Then there is another coil is placed on the bottom of the car, and then that output goes to charge circuit, and that is goes to the energy storage device, might be a battery or supercapacitor. Now you see power is transferred wirelessly. What is the first limitation of Tesla? The first limitation of Tesla, the charge, what's happening between, means power transfer, what happening between the primary and secondary, it is not controllable. So you have to do that, right? So that according to the battery demand and according to the power conditioning, you must be give a charging in a controllable manner. So which means this transmitter coil has to be give a supply voltage by the demand of this energy storage or car vehicle power electronics converter. So how do you transfer those information? So you will be connect a wireless antenna or any protocol, you can use it within the vehicle. That protocol give a communication to your charger to limit or to control the transmitter power. So what is that I am trying to say in the very beginning of the slide? I will be cover some of the computational intelligent requirements of digital circuits also. So here you need a computational intelligence and we need a digital circuit. We need a firewall on this technology. So we need some ID for the respective vehicle and respective coil. So definitely there might be a frequency between this charging EMI may be created. So radiation might be happens. So those radiation can be affected the regular communication signals. So all you should be taken care. So those are the research comes under this category. It is not only to develop your wireless power transfer. Your wireless power transfer should be in a reliable manner. So you should not affect the environmental aspects and other applications. Now we will see the basic black diagram between the wireless charging and wire charging. The right one is the wire charging. So if you take any chargers, the demand of the battery you must be understand. So what must be a demand of the battery? So battery don't want a continuous DC supply to charge. According to the chemistry, the battery has to get a pulsating charge. The moment when the battery gets pulsating charge, what happens internally? So your electron moves and you. So that's needed for the battery so that the temperature will be controlled. Due to the chemical reaction, temperature might produce between these electrodes as well as this battery ionization media. So that should be controlled. So pulsating time, pulsating pulse charging. So charging might be pulsating or IUI charging, current, voltage and current. So that's also like you give current during the time, voltage will be constant. Then again, there is no current, only voltage only there to controlling the discharging. Then again, you will be have a current only. So likewise, you will maintain during the time current will be 0, but there should be a voltage. Here under current will be that's called IUI charge. The pulsating charge this one. So battery need kind of charging. So it is not that a system supposed to AC, then rectifier, then a buck converter, and then battery. It's not like that. It's not like that. The system will be like this. So again, AC supply, you have a rectifier. Rectifier may have an input power factor, so you must have a power factor controller in the input side. Then you have a DC link. In this DC link, you have a DC supply. In this DC supply, you have a power electronics converter. So in this converter, you have a full portion here. You look at that. This is a DC link where you have input DC and the output is also DC. But in between, what happened? In between, the DC is converted as a AC, high frequency AC. So here you are converting the AC as a kilohertz level. So you are using a resonant converter and we are using a pulsating transformer to isolate the converter side and inverter side, because this is inverter side, this is a converter side. Then that rectifier unit, or maybe high frequency AC, convert into rectifier. Of course, high frequency AC will be a pulsating DC structure will be get. That is what we are getting. The whole circuit we can call it as a DC to DC or isolated DC converter. So normally we are using resonant isolated DC to DC converter for wired charging or wireless charging. So that system has to be controlled, so that we are using a closed loop system. So this is a structure of wired charging. The wireless charging, here you can see the same system. We are using some DC-DC converter to make sure that DC link voltage has to be maintained, because you see, we are going to give into a coil the same thing like same resonant converter, and once you come to the transformer, there is no transformer. We are using a primary and secondary coil, and one is on the road, that's a transmitter coil, and another one is out there in the car. So we are converting this transformer into a wireless coil. Then we have a power conditioning. Now look at that, the output filter and as well as this rectifier only used here in wire charging, because your transformer and everything will be very structured. The power flow is very structured, whereas the power flow in wireless charging will not be a structure, right? The distance between this and road conditions. So all will be a matter of fact for this output what you are going to bring in. So the power will be totally dynamic. So to maintain that as a static, to before go to the battery, you are using a power conditioning and some protection circuit and all. Then you go for rectifier and convert it. Or after converting rectifier also, you can do for other filtering option. Then you have to provide the battery. So the whole segment in wired charger, it is there in the outside or inside. So it might be DC charger, it is there in outside the vehicle, or it might be AC charger, then it is there in the car itself. Whereas wireless charger, the dotted line what I mentioned here, that is there in the car side, this is all there in the road side. Again, as I already mentioned, these two has been communicated through the Wi-Fi or any internet connectivity network. That is mandatory over here. Now coming to typical diagram of wireless charging system. So here, the red color what I represented is transmitter coil. Another red color there in the car, it is not call it as a receiver coil. So this transmitter and receiver coil should have some other inductance and capacitance in the meaning of connecting parallel and series. Why we are connecting this? To make this resonance operation. Why? Because you know one theory what we studied, maximum power transfer theorem. So what is called maximum power transfer theorem? AC, in a particular frequency in your circuit impedance, which means your inductance and capacitance is matched. During that time or during that particular frequency, your choices of sending a power is supposed to be maximum, which means the maximum power transfer can be done only at particular frequency. So in order to make or tune that particular frequency, what you need to bring the maximum power, we are adding the coils that's nothing but a capacitor and inductor. That is called it as common shader. So any coil need a main coil and as well as some smaller inductor and capacitor in the combination of series or parallel. That should be connected with this coil. Then the things are rest of the things are same. Like you have high frequency inverter and as well you have rectifier in the output side. So this is what a basic system in the wireless charging. So wireless charging, we have two concepts. One is the coil made by a inductor. So inductor means inductive WPT system. In short, it can be called it as IPT, inductive power transfer. Suppose in spite of going for the inductor coil, we can use the plates also, because the plates means positive and negative charge plates. It's nothing but a battery capacitor. So you can use the plates. Through the plates also you can transfer the power. So it's nothing but capacitor. So it's called it as capacitive WPT system, which means CPT, capacitive power transfer. So CPT, IPT, both are the technology available in front of us. Now you look at that, what is the comparison between CPT and IPT? Now you may keep one of the takeaway point here. For an electrical vehicle or for a different application, what technology you may prefer to design your WPT? When I studied some of the chargers by using CPT, we are not getting a good results. Why? Based on that only I made this table. Now you look at that. For my case, for a 3 kilowatt charger, as I mentioned already, 85 kilohertz I have used for this wireless charging. The same circuit, when I design for capacitor, I need 1 megahertz operation. 1 megahertz in sense that 1000 kilohertz. Now the first point is vanished over here. 1000 kilohertz I need to operate my power electronics converter. Do you have any power electronics converter for operating 1000 kilohertz? Yes, there. The recent gallium means GaN-based devices. It's possible to attend that kind of frequency operation, but look at the GaN-based device cost. One IGBT cost is 1,80,000 rupees. So for my current rating, 60 amps. So cost wise very high. Whereas the SiC-based devices, silicon-based devices, what we are using here, it is closely about 4,000 rupees only. So switching frequency, I am not able to give as what I decided. Then coming to coupling field means that is a common one. So IPT basically magnetic field and CPT is electric field. Since it's the electric field, the heat will not be produced. As a magnetic field, it will be produced. So any foreign object, which means this technology is given to car. The car means the power will be transferred to the car. So the car bodies are metal bodies. Some parts of the car might get in this heating effects. Of course, EMI, EMC also affected by this car body. So foreign objects we have to consider. Then coming to materials, copper and aluminum plates normally used for CPT, which means capacitor, whereas this IPT Litz coil and ferrite core and all we are using. And cost wise, IPT, I'm just talking about cost in terms of only the coil design. It's high actually, but CPT, it's just like a plate, just buy a plate and cut and have it. So cost wise is less. However, if you look at size wise, is actually IPT is small. So again, keep it in mind. My car should have a stipulated dimension, because the car size I cannot change. That has been already decided by the car manufacturers. So my IPT can be approached in a small in size. So that might be a good technology in EV. Whereas CPT, we need a larger in size. Safety wise is good actually. CPT excellent. Why? Because CPT it's not inductor, right? So you won't get any multiple frequency around this. So EMC, EMI will be lesser actually compared to the IPT, inductive power. Then misalignment. I will talk about that one quickly. The misalignment is nothing but either you might have a horizontal misalignment or vertical misalignment, which means the distance between the primary and secondary coil, or the alignment between the primary and secondary coil, the x-axis and y-axis alignment. So that is very poor in IPT because size in small for number one, so that you cannot maintain the alignments. Whereas IPT size in bigger, so you can maintain. Other thing, voltage, stress, power level, and those things are marginally it's okay for all the systems. Then when you thought about to deploy into electrical vehicle, either you maybe have a two of the options. One is that will this technology use for the vehicle to charge during the time of the vehicle parking, or the vehicle may charge during the time of the vehicle moving on the road. So considering the efficiency and other erection and maintenance and all other technical and environmental connectivity, IPT actually good in stationary but not good in dynamic. But CPT is good in both, but especially dynamic is so good. Now IPT and CPT alignment. Now you look at that. This is a first coil, the second coil. First coil, second coil, both are properly aligned. So all flux are moving properly. Transmitter coil to receiver coil. So all flux are positive flux, which I here in blue color. Now you see the receiver coil is slightly away. Look at the dimension, means the vertical distance between these two coils are okay. That's D only, but the x-axis is slightly deviating from the transmitter coil. So there is a leakage flux produced in one part, and there is a other flux which means the receiver coil producing flux that is coming into the transmitter coil, that is a negative flux. So negative flux and leakage flux choices are not good in this WPT design, as in you are looking for 90% or 95% efficiency, good efficiency. So those negative flux issue won't be come in the capacitor, because capacitor basically positive plate and negative plate. But coil is not like that, right? Either it might be primary or this might be primary. You supply here, this will be get flux. You supply here, this will be get flux. But capacitor is not like that. One is positive, another is negative plate. This is a bidirectional charging. So you will be get. There are two choices. One is positive flux and leakage flux might be due to the deviation. But however, you won't get any negative flux. And look at that flux path under even it's totally deviated in the x-axis. Even then you are getting some amount of induced flux due to the positive flux. So that is the reason I said that dynamic in sense what? Car is moving on the road. This car is moving moving on the road. So when it's moving also, you will be get some kind of conductivity so that you can continuously charge. May you get a lesser efficiency, but you can continuously charge. So that's the idea over here. Now coming to charging, wireless charging and wired charging, as I already mentioned, it is parked and charged, so static charging. The vehicle is moving and it is charging dynamically. Now we'll have a small look to comparing these two in case of their pros and cons. Okay, so now let's take this static charging. So the vehicle is not going to move at all. So which means you can easily park your car by using a current image processing technology and whatever the technology we have in front of us. So power transfer is you can do in a high efficiency. Then when you go for the fast charging, basically your size of the coil might be increased. So that is also we can do here. The misalignment, particularly in Y and X, both are limited because you are just parked. So both are limited. So the misalignment will not be there. And you can easily connect some renewable energy straight away. Energy management for the car, maybe go for multi-vehicle car by using a single renewable energy. It's all quite possible in a small, simple control system structure. Whereas when you look at dynamic charging, you can see this. The coils are placed in the road, and those coils might be discrete in nature or continuous in nature. Let me take a discrete in nature, which means the coils are placed in discrete nature. So, first of all, this vehicle is exactly on the coil. You will be get a maximum power transfer. And vehicle is moving, which means you will be get some lateral alignment issue. It means x-axis alignment issue. And car is moving on the road due to the vibration. Y-axis distance between the road coil and car coil also will change. So vehicle alignment will be a problem. Accordingly, you have to design your sizing and power requirement you have to match. So you always look out dual performance, which means static and dynamic. Because there is a traffic, then all vehicle will be stopped on the road. During the time, this coil charging the vehicle in the static power transfer profile. So static power transfer profile and dynamic power transfer profile will vary because frequency will vary, operating frequency. So you must be always need a dual performance. And synchronization while power transferring is very, very difficult. And very important point, when the vehicle is moving, for example, 100 km, or vehicle is moving for 40 km per hour speed. So speed is directly connected to your power transfer. So now an additional complexity is coming when the power transfer happens instantaneously while the vehicle moving on the road in a different speed. Very, very tough to have the power conditioning on this. And rest of things, it's very often the lot of vehicle going on the road and getting charged, so automatically power gets penetrate. You have to see the grid issues. So those things, and then communications we need in a very lesser latency. So all is very important for WPT when you're planning for on the road. So that's dynamic for WPT. So hope you understand what is the difference between and what are the challenges between these two. I have not addressed one challenge here in the bullet. Probably I can address. So basically when you charge your battery is charging. When you charge your battery charging, so battery having BMS. So to understanding BMS, I will take small time here. You must be charge your battery with respect to your required voltage and current, and you must be maintain some temperature. So battery may be charged in two ways. One is constant voltage and constant current. So constant current, when the battery will charge, maybe till 80% battery will charge at constant current mode operation. During the constant current, you will be maintain the current constant and change the voltage. That's called constant current mode. But after reaching certain time, like 80%, then the constant voltage comes. During the time, you are increasing the voltage, means keeping the voltage constant and current is changing. So the charging for the any battery will behave in these two characteristics, of course, because the battery's chemistry principles are changing inside. So the temperature is actually comes in the different values based on every moment of charging. So you must be maintain the temperature also for providing the voltage and current with respect to voltage and current charging mode. So now you see, while charging the vehicle, it is similar that of the regular charging of what wire charging is doing. Whereas when vehicle is moving on the road, it is highly, complex for providing voltage and current to the battery. For the required voltage and current, what needs for the battery to charge. So designing the BMS for both static and dynamic, it's very complex. Particularly dynamic is very complex. So that's another challenge over here. Now, we will look out to develop a wireless charger for vehicle. These are the system we want to develop. One is that electromagnetic coil. Second, that compensator topology to make the circuit to operate in a particular frequency to ensure the maximum power, which means the inductor and capacitor you need to be find out and you have to add with the main coil. And third one, you must be go and take a proper power transistor converter and the respective controller, PWM and other duty cycle and any closed loop, you need to maintain a current. All these things we have to take care. And battery management system, we have to be incorporated to the specific applications. And finally, the communications protocol must be included in this system, because the power itself is transferring wirelessly. So you should be have a data communication between these two always, so that to the demand of the battery, you can transfer the power, provided for any electrical hazards or any other issues, you can stop your power to flow between the transmitter and receiver coil. So all these things you have to be communicated carefully with a lower latency period. So that's what we are using communications on this. Okay, so you can see here some of the pictorial view how the charging pads basically. That's the first one, as I told already in the previous slide. So this is a Nissan Leaf model again. So this is a car side coil. This is a receiver side coil. I assume that I'm opening this one. While you are opening, you have a coils, a basic coil. Then you have a ferrite core to provide the better magnetic field. And the last one, we have aluminum shielding to avoid the EMI EMC transfer or flux density means flux transfer to the car body or outside object. So that's we are providing aluminum shielding over there. So basically, your linkage flux will be passed through like this. So you look at that, all the linkage flux will be there. I just shown only the linkage flux. Whatever leakage flux, that's my goes here. Okay. You must be always go on your linkage flux. To provide a linkage flux only, we are using this ferrite core. Okay. Make sure the directions are same. Then, as I mentioned, second one is a compensator. So just a capacitor and an inductor connected into the main coil. So that capacitor inductor probably like this. You can connect it into series, parallel, parallel, and parallel series. So like that you can connect your coil. So the ideology to connect a compensator to maintain the coupling factor on the coil design and improve the quality factor on the coil design. Okay, so this is a equivalent circuit. You can see here, this is a simple resonant converter, including the coil. So this is the transmitter coil and this is the receiver coil. And this is a compensator what I added here. So this is a series compensator. And this is a high frequency resonant converter. This is a rectifier. So the AC goes here and this mutual inductance, the same AC goes here. And then you have rectifier and converting into DC. So you converting into a equivalent circuit. Here you have high frequency AC and receiver side also you have high frequency AC. So basically mutual inductance, the current in the one side and then omega is angular frequencies of the 2 pi f. So the f what we have in that is called it as the resonant frequency what we are operating in. So when we go for the coil design, the coil might be circular design, H shape, DD shape, DQ shape, and bipolar shape. So these are the shapes actually for the coil design. So the coil, the three-dimensional view, you can see here. Ferrite. Basically, these are three only. So circular coil, you can see core and ferrite core and the aluminum shield. Suppose you take bipolar like a transformer shell type. Again, the coil, ferrite core, and aluminum shielding. So when you design the coil, you must go for a geometry. So this is one of the structure what we are doing. So it's a spiral type. Basically, the misalignment understanding is that assume that this is a transmitter coil and receiver coil. The center of the transmitter coil is here. And the center of the receiver coil is here. The distance between these two coils are misalignment basically. So this is a lateral axis, which means x-axis. Then the coil, the distance between is nothing but this one. It's a air gap distance. That's called D. So when the coil is moving, you must have a different misalignment. And of course, you have a smaller deviation in the distance also. So majorly the misalignment will happen. So that you have to take care. So we must understand what is the coil geometry during the misalignment. So basically, the coil design procedure will be start like this core and magnetic core, and it will be placed on this. So basically, you have to do the Maxwell analysis, and then you have to wound the coil in this way. So just I'll skip the slide, assuming the time consumption. So let's understand about this, how we ensure our efficiency. So there are derivations are there. I just show the derivation. So basically, wireless power transfer also we have active and reactive power. Finally, we are bringing the K value. K is like a transformer. K is nothing but mutual inductance divided by root of L1 L2. So these L1 L2 having quality factor Q1 Q2. So K and Q value we are going to bring a equation. That equation is assumed to be a equation for designing a coupling and as well as quality factor. Within the quality factor, L1 L2 will be there, M will be there, and K value is also we have mutual inductance, and we have some certain frequency for that quality factor. So everything comes under this equation. So considering the chart, already different K value, the plots are drawn in a different color. Now we consider, we make one quality factor. Say for example, here the coupling factor is 0.2. The quality factor is maintained as 300, which means where quality factor is 300. What is the coupling? Coupling is 0.2, which means this orange color. So straight away you see this line. And what is your efficiency? Efficiency we are getting around 66%. Suppose your coupling factor is less. I assume that I'm going to take it's like 120, something like that. And this coefficient of coupling K means the quality factor is 120, and the coupling value I'm just taking very minimum value. So during the time mutual inductance is also less. So I'm getting only efficiency less. So when you increase efficiency, you must be increase your K value, and you must be increase your Q value also. So Q value increase sense that inductor value should be increased. Inductor value means coil dimension will be get increased. K increase means mutual inductance get increased. Okay, so these are the factors are inside to improve the efficiency. So the coil design is a matter how the efficient coil you are going to design it. So I just skipped some of the slides which are normally covered already. So safety aspects, yes, of course, safety. ICNIRP, it's International Commission of Radiation Regulation. So it is one of the standard we have to follow when we are going and designing for this wireless power transfer. So occupation within a car and outside the car, both we have to see. So here you can see here the CAT magnetic electric field has been ensured. So the CAT red color, it's a danger zone. So this danger zone, the papers are get burned because of the radiation. So we must be see those things connected to the car body, because car having a different metal on their car body systems. So we have to see everything. Basically, you can see here the magnetic field in the human outside the car. So magnetic field and as well as electric field. There should be a standard for a specific 85 kilohertz. It should be maintained some standard like 27 micronewton and 27 6.25 magnetic field. Electric field 83. So some standard you have to use anyway. You just knew about the standard. Just look at that body, how it is like. Then the person who's sitting inside the car. So he must be also have. You see some of the red color are showing here, which means he may be the head legs are footing on the surface. So of course the downside only the coil is there. Definitely you'll be having some kind of effects. So like flux density and the electric flux density is fine. And there are many standards, ISO, international standards, ISO, ISE, and Society of Automotive Engineering. So the standards basically C protocol, some grid conductivity and radiations, magnetic field property. So majorly these are the standards are following on this wireless transfer. So you can see some case study over here. This is one of the top mode research in ONR laboratory in USA. So you can see here this basically the system understand about for the dynamic coil demonstration. So you see when the car body and coil and they're connected, you'll be get maximum power where you are getting it. And provided the coil away from the car, maybe it's coming here, this may be hit into the body. So in such case, you will be get kind of radiations. So the radiations coming like that, some value we are getting it. So how we are going to arrest those radiations? That is also there in this dynamic charging. So inside car means when the coil conductivity interfering the vehicle body also should be addressed. Okay. So coming to the last slide, before I go showing our research. So basically, think of this wireless power transfer. Basically, it's a cost. You have to spend a lot of money. Efficiency will be lower when you are designing a system. It's very sensitive during this alignment. Coil size normally larger. The distance are limited. Which means always I say the latency means horizontal distance is fit into 20 centimeters maximum value. When you go 30 centimeter, again you will be get a lot of losses, which means the distance gets increased. So how do you address those things? Of course, we have a choices of addressing all these things because we keep on doing research. So we have to go all novel methods and systems. So maybe the novel coil design maybe give a technology to reduce the cost. The coil costs are high. Power transfer cost is not that much high. Then the topology can be derived. Power transfer topology. There are a lot of research papers coming around, and methods of having structural like sandwich structural methods can be introduced. New metal leads coil we are normally using for this WPT. Maybe you can plan for some other coil which may be a superconductivity material, and those things we can work on it. We means I received a project in DST, it's core research project. We started this research in different coil 5-6 years before itself. Small size, and then slowly will grown up. And this is our system. We are going to develop a new system in terms of coil and as well as how we are going to control the vehicle during the dynamic in order to get the maximum efficiency provided the cost-effective solution. So we are on the way, and we have published some papers in IEEE transaction. And these are the trial setup what we have. We are doing in very smaller prototype. We are achieving about some efficiency about 50%, 32%. I agree that we are not getting a percentage more than 80%, but our coils are prepared in a different nature. The shieldings are not done, so that's the reason the efficiency getting down. Once I made a shielding, then definitely I will be arrest the leakage flux, then we will be get a better shielding. So you can see here, when the coil is moving, we are getting down because speed is measured here, the time. The distance travel is reduced, which means the speed is increased. So when the increased speed, the coil efficiency is getting down. But when we are going into slow in motion, then we are getting a better efficiency. So we published paper in IEEE transactions in some of the very good journals, and this is other work related to that, fast charging, batteries, and some of the current sharing also we need to do between the two coils. So we are doing with some topology, and also we are using that system into be solar based system. And presently we are developing a EV for this wireless power transfer. It's exclusively for this system, but we are not going for a model based system. We are just going for a chase based system. Just we are developing a chase and connecting into PMSN motor, and we're trying to rotate a motor in this coil. So we have done some of the patents also. So last year one patent has been done. This wireless power transfer is incorporated in the wheel itself. So wheel having all the coils. So there is no coil over here. The coil is placed in the wheel itself. So we proven that the wheel is directly given a power to the motor is rotating. So this wireless power transfer, we are working in these other areas like biomedical instrumentation, data transfer, and this is other work using a different load. This has been planned for a fish tank. So in fish tank, different loads are there, food feeder and thermistor and all. So all are transferred by wireless power transfer without affecting the fish health. So that is also published. So considering the fabrication, what we can focus on this coil design and all. So basically coil geometry is very important. So that's indirectly influence on your flux geometry. So what core you are going to develop, ferrite core or any other core. How do you place your core? What is your dimension of the core? All is a important factor, and what operating frequency you are operating. I said that you have to operate in a resonant frequency, high frequency, resonant frequency, and alignment requirement for both X and Y axis. What could be your secondary device? My secondary device is a battery for electrical vehicle. So battery having a different dynamic characteristics. So you have to be carefully handle the battery charging also, because the input power also dynamic. The secondary device, which means your load is also dynamic. You have to take care of that. So the closed loop system should be defined and should have some response time, which means your controller, whatever you are going to develop, that controller should not have any latency. If you provide a latency, then there is no point of developing any control system. In the parameter exchange by using communications, I said already, that's very important. You must be add some communication Wi-Fi devices and graphical user interface or any optimization you need to do that, you have to do it in cloud itself. So all should be focused on this area. And finally, this is very important. The resonant topology circuit can be developed in terms of improving Q and K, and as well as switching frequency and current. So those are, you can consider in mind, and you can develop some new topology in power transistor converter. So which are all very important for developing the fabrication and development on this WPT to fit into the different application. I'm talking about wireless charge. Actually, presently we are working one work. We will operate all our electronics components. Say for example, DSOs, means computer, laptop, cell phone, small mini projector, everything will be operated by wireless power transfer. All devices having a battery inside, those batteries will be charged. So like our online UPS, those battery parallelly dissipating the power to the devices. So we had a lot of challenges. We are rectifying one by one. So those things we have, likely we are considering all this point majorly. Okay, that's all. So this is my presentation. I will end up the presentation. If you have any queries on this, we can discuss now. I will come to the discussion screen. I will open my mic, means camera. Sir, I just completed my presentation. You can connect to the participants' questions, or participants are welcome to unmute your mic. You can directly, interact with me if you have any questions. All are very getting utterance link and feedback links. Okay, participants. Okay, I am also participant in some of the webinar. Actually, when you attend the webinar, these two factors are important to get the certificate. One is attendance and another one is a feedback link. But beyond that, some interaction is also required. Now, maybe 3 years before, the same topic I have given in the same institution, other forum. We had a questionnaire session alone is half an hour. The kind of interest I saw with these participants. But nowadays, the interest on getting certificates, no way useful, You have to get certificate, you have to interact the session. That's very important. Okay, anyhow. So, organizer, please.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Parthiraja, sir. I hope our participants received idea about e-mobility, transportation, and its supply chain for smart grid. So, thank you, sir. Thanks for very valuable presentation. Participants, if you have any doubts, please, sir.
For your information, so maybe participant can look out. I just turn my laptop and come there. Some experiment is going on. That's totally different, but you can see here how our simulator and all. You look at that. We have developed the indigenous simulator there. This simulator is it's developed in our lab. Okay, we are given a technology. This technology is shared by one company and us. So basically, you all know MATLAB, right? So the MATLAB can be directly written as a library function in FPGA. So then that FPGA can be configured, and whatever the MATLAB blocks you need, you can develop in that FPGA board itself. Which assume that there is one CPU you can see here. This is a CPU. There is no. This is a monitor. That's it. This is not a computer CPU. This is a FPGA board inside. So it's like a CPU. You cannot Google it and all, but basically it's a CPU. So you can develop whatever the program you need. So this system act like a GUI, graphical user interface, communication, and as well like a implement device like a FPGA, DSP, everything. So we are doing it. Everything is same. Actually, you can see here now one simulation is running, transformer less inverter. You can see here the output is coming, square wave output, and basically this is pulse. You can view here only pulse. Scope is actually producing. So, yeah, so this is our one part of laboratory work is going on. So basically this is nothing but the wireless power transfer system. Whenever there is no demand in wireless power transfer, so the power will be transferred into the grid. So basically we are using a grid inverter. So the grid inverter, we are developing a new topology, transformerless inverter. So through that we are doing it. So any participants are interested to see this setup, you can anytime visit SRM. So for your information, this is our in-house development. You cannot buy an output outside. Okay, so yeah. So because normally I take this webinar in my home. Today, this webinar happens in my lab. So that's the interest I want to show to the participants. And as well, we are planning to conduct a webinar in SRM. Likely we'll connect a different camera, and we thought to show our research and all during the February time. So maybe I will put in my LinkedIn, so you can, if you are interested, you can register over there. So we'll be show all this our demonstration during that time. Okay. I think your argument